The 11th of February marks International Day of Women and Girls in Science. Now, the day serves as a platform to raise awareness about the challenges women face in STEM fields. It advocates for increased opportunities and support for women pursuing careers in science, technology, engineering and mathematics. Head of Medical Genetics at Tygerberg Hospital, Professor Shahida Moosa, joins us to reflect on the importance of women and girls in science. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. An important day to really take note of as we celebrate the trailblazers like yourself, but also look at the big loopholes in the sector. Why is this day so important?
Good morning. Thank you, and thank you for highlighting this very important issue. I look forward to the day when we don't have to have an international day for girls and women in science, because it will just be something so mainstream and so normal that we won't have to advocate for that anymore. Unfortunately, girls and women in science are still facing huge challenges with regards to equity, access, support when it comes to their realizing their dreams of becoming scientists or doctors, engineers, etc. And I think that, hosting this every year as a day that we dedicate to raising awareness about these issues, hopefully will go a long way into us trying to start, at the very beginnings of getting to grips with these issues. This is not something that happens at the university level for the first time or getting your first job for the first time. It starts at primary school. It starts at kindergarten. It starts with how we socialize within our homes, within our schools, within our communities. Still today, 2024, girls are still told, you'd rather do biology or rather do art. Maybe physics is not something, maybe mathematics is not something for you. As a young, teenager, I went to a really good school, but there was still one teacher that told me, after seeing me as the only girl in the class, girls can't do physics. And I was very happy to be able to prove him wrong. And we try as much as we can to support not only our university students. So I teach at Stellenbosch University, and I have my clinical duties in the hospital at Tygerberg Hospital. I run an all-girls research group. We have 14 women doing science, learning bioinformatics, learning things that, fields of science that are predominated by men, still very much in South Africa and very much internationally. And they are trailblazers, becoming role models for other girls and other women in these fields to see that, yes, we can do it. They look up to me as a role model. I am a clinician scientist, and we can prove that women can do it. We can do it as good as the men can. We just need the support, and the support starts not at the university level. The support starts within the family, where the mom and dad and the siblings support that girl in realizing her dreams. Girls can definitely do maths. Girls can definitely do science. Girls can become engineers. They can become leaders in their fields. And that's what we are, that's where we're working towards.
Yeah. You talk about support, which is a very important part of the bigger puzzle. But what sort of perceptions need to change? And how do we begin to have these discussions that break down these barriers, these walls, about who can do what and who cannot do what, as you talk about girls and the perception from grassroots? I mean, primary school, high school. How can the schooling system also offer support, as well as the family and the culture perceptions around what girls can and cannot do?
I think it starts with having good role models, people that you can see are doing what you want to do. It's very important to be represented. We know that that's something you need to be able to see it in order for you to imagine that you can become it. I think a lot needs to happen with regards to teachers being encouraged to encourage the girls in their classes to be able to pursue whatever they want to do, whether it's art or science or both, preferably both. And a lot needs to also happen within the community, within the churches and the mosques and the temples, that you get support not only from the family, but from the larger community, from the neighbors, from your spiritual leaders, to say, girls are equal to boys. We know that. We might not be the same, but we are equal, and therefore we deserve equal opportunities. When it comes to the university level, there's still a lot of that needs to change. For example, the heads of departments, the professors that you see. We're making slow but sure strides in that direction. I still get mistaken for being, the registrar or the trainee doctor rather than the professor. Often when I'm standing next to a medical student who happens to be male, people will assume he is the most senior doctor rather than me. People still confuse me for, being a different subspecialist, not the professor of medical genetics. Those perceptions need to change. And I think a lot lays on our shoulders as the role models, as the women who are leaders now in science. But a lot also needs to change as how we bring up our teachers, how we train them, how we bring up our spiritual leaders and how we train them, and how we socialize girls from a very young age to know that a lot hangs, is up to them also to say, I'm interested in maths, I'm interested in science, and I can do this as good as my brother or my neighbor or the boy sitting next to me in the classroom.
Yeah, absolutely. In your efforts to provide fresh perspective to science and technology, solve unanswered questions, what fuels your passion towards science?
My passion very much is fueled by my patients. So I'm a clinician scientist. I see patients every day at Tygerberg Hospital, and answering questions that will directly benefit them and directly impact them. That's what makes me wake up and come to work during the day. I have a very big passion for capacity building, especially girls and young women in these fields that are male-dominated. So I wake up in the morning also and come to the laboratory because I'm eager to share my knowledge with the girls that are in my research group. And together we are really impacting real people with rare diseases, real people with genetic conditions in South Africa and now broadly in Africa. And that's what makes us excited every day. That's what makes us more passionate to be able to forge forward in these fields that are still untapped in South Africa, still unpopular in South Africa. We're trying our best to bring this into the mainstream, bring women into the mainstream of these areas and benefit the people who need us to help them.
With all the work that you do to try and raise the science bar higher and ensure that, young people can be a part of the industry, what would you say needs to happen at school level when it comes to the talk around, you get to grade 10, you need to choose your final subjects. People are shying away from science and mathematics. What would you say to those learners who have to make that decision now about getting into the industry, the exciting aspects and the layers of the industry of science? What words of encouragement would you offer? And also the factor around perceptions that perhaps it's hard and it's not for me. How can you encourage them?
I think science is very exciting. It doesn't matter what branch of science you're interested in. There are answers so many hundreds of thousands of answers that still need to be answered. And you are the one who might be able to come up with an answer that will change our perception of things, will change our understanding of something, and will impact humankind or plants or the climate. We need young people to be interested in science. We need young women to be interested in science because they bring a fresh perspective to things that the old people like us, like me, haven't thought about yet. It's not harder. Maths is not necessarily harder than it is to create a musical score. You need to be able to forge ahead. You need to be able to concentrate on what you want to do. You need to have a clear plan of what you want to do, and then ask for help and get mentors and get people to support you, your teachers, the school psychologist, the social worker, your family, in order for you to get extra lessons perhaps if you need it. Don't give up on your dreams. Forge ahead. Everything is possible. And everybody needs to try at least to fulfill their potential. And there's huge potential for women and girls in whatever aspect and field of science that they are interested in.
What are some of those exciting fields that one could venture into after studies?
Oh my goodness, the list is endless. I know, traditionally we say, you should become a doctor, you should become an engineer, or you should become a teacher. There are so many subfields within those fields. So if you want to become a doctor, you don't just have to become a general practitioner. You can choose to become an orthopedic surgeon. So when I was young, we didn't have female role models in orthopedic surgery. Today there's an orthopedic surgery female association, there are so many of them around the country. So, it takes one girl to do this and the rest will follow, and you become a leader and you become support. For the support that you got as a young person, now you can provide support to others. And I think that there are just more and more different fields of science that are being born. 20 years ago, we didn't have a science called computational biology or bioinformatics. Today, these are mainstream sciences that need the input of women and young girls. Yeah. So, don't plan only for today. Plan for the next 20 years, the next 30 years of your career. There are things that are going to be opening up new fields of exciting science that are going to be available. You need to start with having that fire in you that says, I want to do this, I want to pursue this, and I can do it, and I will do it, and I will be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for those words of encouragement. Professor Shahida Moosa, who's Associate Professor in Human Genetics and Rare Disease Specialist, reflecting on the International Day of Women and Girls in Science as we take stock of some of the strides that have been made and the challenges that still remain in the sector.